Hello, team, gang, family. I've been really enjoying watching Counter-Strike lately, but there is one thing that does kind of get on my nerves. Can somebody else please win a tournament, man? And while I'm not as much of a hater as I used to be, I actually do kind of enjoy watching them play. I think at some point, there has to be someone in the scene that puts a stop to Vitality's reign of dominance. There has to be a team that rises up and puts a stop to what they are doing. And today, that is what we are going to be talking about.
It's gonna be like a semi-serious video.
I'm gonna be talking about every single team that is attending Cologne that I think has a chance to maybe beat Vitality, or at least I think is kind of interesting. You know, unfortunately, I'm not gonna talk about FlyQuest maybe beating Vitality, but I am gonna talk about a majority of Tier 1 and Tier 1.5 teams, and kind of saying what I think they need to do or random roster moves they need to make. And let me just say, like I said, it's gonna be a half serious video. A lot of these roster moves would be cool if they happen, but a lot of them I don't think will actually happen in real life. But you know, it's still a cool discussion nonetheless. Anyways, let's get into the current number 2 ranked team in the world first. Will this video age poorly if I say Cologne is already over and Vitality just wins? Probably not. Hopefully it does, but I'm assuming not. And I don't think Na'Vi is going to make a roster move before Cologne. You know, they're not Falcons. We'll get into them later. But maybe after Cologne, they make a move. And well, I think the person that unfortunately has to go is Ema. I've been saying it. I think Ema's a great player, but before all the Romanians get their panties in a knot, let me just say, God bless Lawnex. Okay, I love Lawnex. Getting back to Ema. I think Ema is a very good player, but I've done a little bit of research. And would you guys look at this? Here is every single final Na'Vi has been in since Ema has joined the team. Look at the ratings in every single final of these events. He has significantly less maps, but Makaze is at the top with a 113. Then Wonderful, then Bit, and all the way at the bottom is Ema. I mean, of course, Alexi is actually at the bottom, but it is Alexi. What do you expect? And would you look at this? We actually have evidence of Vitality and Na'Vi playing in a final not too long ago at Blast Open Rotterdam. And who was the lowest rated player on the entire team? That was Ema with a 0.75 rating. Now, like I said, I don't think Ema is a bad player by any means, but I do think if Na'Vi is going to beat Vitality, it is going to have to be in a final atmosphere. And while it seems to me that Ema does typically tend to fall off in finals. So anyways, basically, I think the easiest way for Na'Vi to beat Vitality is replacing Ema with a better closer. And I mean, like, you know, player for player, bar for bar, Vitality still has a, you know, better players in every single position on the team, when compared to Na'Vi. But this is just a thought exercise, and I'm only doing one roster move per team, so it's like, you know, just work with me. This is a fun video. And well, a lot of people have been saying this for a while, and I'm just going to agree with them. Get Frozen to Na'Vi. Get him out of FaZe. I've seen enough of Frozen locked in FaZe, and yes, he did just sign a new contract extension with them, but like I said, I don't care. It's just like, it is what it is, bro. I'm just spitballing ideas out there. You know, this whole video is just gonna be a thought exercise, like I've said. And if you can't get Frozen, fucking A, bring Twist into the team even. I feel like either one of them would work. You know, especially with FaZe's future kind of being up in the air with, you know, their GOAT Kerrigan leaving. At this point, I do think FaZe probably still builds around Frozen and Twist if they can. But at the end of the day, just get one of them on Na'Vi, okay? I feel like it would help the team astronomically. And then, like, for example, if you get Twist, I know Emo was doing a lot of secondary calling on the team. I'm sure Twist can secondary call as well. He did have that little stint as an IGL. And while I don't think he was a good IGL on Liquid, that is still the best Liquid has looked in a very long time. You know, those fuckers still somehow made the playoffs of a major, and they have not even been close since. So yeah, moral of the story, get Frozen or Twist on Na'Vi.
Hello guys, it's me, Garmour. The first time you've ever seen me in person before. If you guys would like to support me or the stuff that I do here, check out the new long-term sponsor of the Garmour YouTube channel, SkinSwap. SkinSwap is the #1 place to trade your Rust or Counter-Strike skins for new ones where you can instantly upgrade your inventory. And if you use my code Garmour, you can get up to $50 on a free skin and a 3% lifetime selling bonus. And now you can easily buy skins off of the Chinese marketplace for cheaper prices than you ever could on the Western marketplaces. I truly think this is the best feature on any skin trading website, but if you are looking to sell, you can sell your skins for crypto, PayPal, Venmo, and a bunch of other withdrawal methods. methods. Along with this, Skin Swap has a vault system now, which makes it the most rewarding skin trading website. And of course, don't forget the giveaways. And I think that's it. Thank you to them. Thank you to you guys. And back to the video.
The Mongolz. The Mongolz is very simple. There is literally one move that makes sense. Get Senzu back in the lineup. I'm sorry, Cobra Zera. I do still think you could turn out to be a very good player, but with Senzu on Mongolz, it looked like they were getting closer and closer and closer to beating Vitality. You know, they did take him to 3 maps at Austin, and even though they did still lose, peak Mongolz was a damn good team, and they have not looked the same since Senzu has left. I think we've seen on Passion Way that it's not like Senzu is a worse player. He took that little break, but he is still a fucking demon. And I mean, bro, Senzu back to Mongolz. It would be maybe a little awkward between the players, but I just don't care. You know, I'm sorry, Passion Way, but like, I feel like the best possible situation here for all parties is just Senzu leaves Passion Way, joins Mongolz. Mongolz become demonic again. Maybe Cobra Zera back over to Passion Way, a little player swap. I don't think they'd be down for that, but just imagine. Also, can you guys hear it in my voice that it's a little early today? I'm sorry if I sound like shit. The next team is Furia, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the main thing that I think would help push Furia over the edge is literally just getting Molodoy over his major issues. In the past 2 major playoffs Furia has played, Molodoy has not performed very well, and I do think they would be a significantly better team if he would just perform. Obviously easier said than done, okay? I get how this looks. I'm a little chud sitting in a little gaming chair telling, you know, previous rookie of the year just play better on, you know, the biggest stage in all of Counter-Strike. Just play better. I get that can be very tough, but like truly that is the easiest way that I see Furia improving. And you know, I don't really think a player swap would do them a ton of justice. Like in 2026, has Yuri taken a step back from his 2025 form? Yes. And I have talked about Koala on this channel as well. I do think if Koala performs well at Cologne, he could take a step up into tier 1, but even still, Yuri is probably the best anchor support player in all of Brazil. I don't think you replace him for just a couple bad months of play. And you know, I love his redemption arc, but I feel like the easiest player to replace in this lineup is Yakinder, just because I do feel like there's a ton of really good young European openers. You know, if for some reason you did feel like you wanted to replace him, I get he was a top 20 player last year. I think Yakinder is a very good player, but it's kind of like, what if swapping out Yakinder for a different opener is kind of like minus Spinks plus Rops on Vitality? You know what I'm saying? Just simply add Donk to the team. I mean, what are we doing, fellas? But I guess that would probably be my 2 biggest ideas for Furia is replace Yakinder, Molodoy get over his choking issues. You know, they could be a lot better. I still don't know about Yakinder. You know, who would even be like a really good option? How are we feeling about Jam Young to Furia? Because the thing about the Rob Spinks trade is there is no really, like, you can't do something like that. Rops was a proven generational player already. You probably have to take a chance on a younger player if you're Furia. I mean, shit, bro. Genuinely, the best option might just be Insani from MIBR. But like, I feel like if you're gonna get Insani at that point, you might as well just keep Yakinder. So I don't know. If you can find a good opener replacement for Yakinder, send it. Otherwise, I think the main thing for Furia is Molodoy getting over some choking issues. Next up is Aurora, and my god, the Aurora rumors are demonic. What were they? Plus Molodoy, plus Alexi B? No shot, bro. I mean, it does sound like Woxic might be leaving, so maybe there is a little bit of merit to those, but like, I feel like Aurora is a tough team to read as well, because I do feel like the only way for them to get better is go down like the Furia route, kind of being majority Turkish still, so you keep all the Turkish fans, but you're gonna probably have to start speaking English and playing with a more international roster, at least 2, you know, like European players. And I don't actually hate the idea of replacing Woxic. I do think Woxic, like, he's without a doubt the best Turkish opper, but I do also think you can do better than Woxic. Is it going to be hard? Yes. There is a large lack of opping talent, I feel like. You know, Woxic is proven to be a good player in tier 1, you know, but what if you can get a generational opper? He was top 20 in 2019, but that was 7 years ago at this point. What if you can bring in an international opper that, you know, is a top 20 player right away? Because I feel like since Woxic has been on Aurora, well, Eternal Fire as well, like, he has been good, but he hasn't been that good. He hasn't been top 20 good. And I do feel like that could push Aurora over the edge, because like I've said before, you probably can replace Major, but trying to find an IGL replacement for him at this point is just too much thinking for me. Like, you're not gonna really find another great replacement unless you do steal an IGL from another team like Alexi B. Like, don't get me wrong, the rumors of plus Alexi B plus Molodoy actually would be insane for Aurora, but since I'm only doing one move, I'm gonna pick out out Woxic here. Who's a good opper? Couple good operas you could bring in. Brokey, JW, Penny maybe. I mean, there is a lot of options. The default answer that I'm always going to go to is just Klim, because he is currently the best young opping prospect in the entire scene. But like, obviously, if you can get Molodoy, you fucking get Molodoy. I just don't see any universe where he would leave Furia, to be honest. And while this is more of like, you know, thought exercise video, I don't want to go too unbelievably insane, because I truly don't see any universe where Molodoy does this. Bro, this shit is impossible. At this point, just get Simple on Aurora. I mean, Simple and Zantara's mental combined together, that should be good. I don't see any problems with that. Replacing Woxic is tough, man, because like I said, he's not a bad opera by any means. But if you can get a consistently elite top-level opera, I do think that elevates Aurora a shit ton.
Fuck this
Stupid-ass video, bro. Just put JW in Aurora. I've had enough. Mouse
Clan.
Guys, Mouse Clan needs some aura in their life. I've had this take. I will continue to have this take. Mouse needs someone to make their team likable. Yes, they do. I think, well, there's multiple moves I like for Mouse. It sounds like they want to replace Brolin. I also would like to add Zelix to the roster for Xerxin. I also would like to add JL to the team to make them somewhat likable. It's 7:30 in the morning. Mouse, you funny little guys. Do we share the same brain cell or what, fellas? Did you look at the draft of this video and say, this little white boy might be onto something? Mouse has actually added JL and Zelix to their main roster, and what can I say? I like the move. I think it was a good move. JL fixes the issue of the team being boring, in my opinion. I think JL being on this team makes them at least somewhat likable. Zelix needed a chance in Tier 1. He was very good in Tier 2. Plus, he also gets to play in the roles that he likes, because Xerxin is being moved to IGL, which is, you know, that's one of the few parts of this new team that I'm kind of like, Xerxin IGL? Are you serious? A little, strange of a move in my opinion. But I get with adding JL and Zelix, your hands are kind of tied. You gotta keep the core. And so maybe Mouse has a more long-term plan that we're not aware of. They're planning on keeping Xerxin until they can find an IGL upgrade, which I guess makes sense to me. Or I don't know, maybe they really are just genuinely trying out Xerxin at IGL and are letting him call until the end of 2026. Which is probably what I see happening. It is sad we're not going to be able to see this full roster together at the Cologne Major. But I guess JL is just kind of a stand-in at this point. He's not even really signed to the main roster. But I'm assuming that's what their plan is. So while I do like the two moves they've made, I do still think Mouse is an IGL away from really being able to compete. I don't know if they'll ever be able to compete with Vitality. But if they were, I think, you know, maybe... How much money do we gotta give Krebeni to join this team? I don't actually want this to happen. I want Foot to stay together, and I will be heartbroken if they just all get poached. And I do think they will stay together. It sounds like the team wants to stay together. They have no reason to leave. They're genuinely a top 10 team in the world right now. So you guys know what that means. Mouse has to buy out the entire Foot roster. I mean, I'm thinking about it, bro. If you aren't adding Krebeni for Xerxin, how else are we taking another step up? What other IGL are we adding? Hey, as soon as Bertram Clyde Gaming fails, Simple can replace Torji as op IGL. Paravision. I actually do have some W thoughts about Paravision. Guys, we need Kyosuke to leave Falcons and join Paravision. I cannot imagine a better fit than Kyosuke on Paravision. I mean, my God, you have generational interview with Dastan saying he can't kick the players the majors around the corner. If they keep doing dumb shit, he will. Noda, you're out of here, buddy. You had a good start to the year. I've seen enough. What better team to put a raw mechanical god like Kyosuke into than a team with Jame and Dastan? Kyosuke is an incredibly good player on Falcons, but sometimes he does do a little bit of silly things. You know, sometimes he does be giving his life away when he doesn't need to. Sometimes there's a couple, you know, over peaking, not really working together problems on Falcons. Paravision and Kyosuke, in my opinion, is quite literally a perfect fit. Get him onto this team, and I truly think Paravision levels the fuck up immediately. I mean, Jame, Zwei, Kyosuke is an insane core, no matter who you ask, I feel like. And I just hope that in my lifetime I see this happening. Because, like, Donk is another option, but he's going to be on Spirit for the rest of his life. There's not even any point to bring up Donk in any conversation. But I do think Falcons tends to give up on their players pretty soon. So maybe, you know, maybe in our life we see this move. I personally would love it. And the last team in stage 3 of the major is Falcons. And I'm not going to lie to you, fellas. They may have already done the move. Carrigan in for Kixin. I mean, here's the deal. He is the most proven, greatest super team IGL of all time. If there was an IGL for a fucked, scuffed ass team like Falcons, it would be Kerrigan. And it's not like it's only me who believes this. Currently, the odds on Polymarket also have Falcons as the second highest odds to win the Cologne Major. But there are still a couple issues. He is getting up there. FaZe is a disaster, but when you consider how bad the FaZe roster is and the fact that he still had the juice to push them into the Budapest Major final, I mean, bro, I really do think Falcons made the move that can help them. Can they still upgrade Tessez? Without a doubt. If we are already counting the team as Nico, Tessez, Monesi, Kiyosuke, and Kerrigan, then the next move, without a doubt, would be to replace Tessez. And I mean, Falcons has shown that they are willing to try and buy out anyone in the earth. There's multiple players you can go for. The best option probably is still Bit. He has had a slight dip in form, but like Jimmy from Mouse, you know, I always thought Heavy God could be a W option, but there are some issues with that we won't get into. But yeah, I mean, everyone says it, like a good fit would just be Bit for Tessez at this point. There would still be a couple role problems, but I think it would be fine. Next up is my new sons. I love them dearly. That is Foot Clan. And in the universe where they don't just get fully bought out by Mouse, well, I mean, it's kind of tough to say what else they would do because I feel like they literally, maybe besides Symmetry, who literally just won the MVP of Bucharest, but I do get to run a lot of top teams at Bucharest, but even still, he played very well. Foot might have the best young player in every position on their team, honestly. So I guess maybe the one player you could replace is Symmetry because I don't think he does hold up against really good tier 1 teams like, you know, how he played in Bucharest. This isn't necessarily a move that I would want to happen because, like I said, I do like keeping the team together, and I think Symmetry can still grow as a player, so I don't want to split them up. And my real answer is nothing. Put Stop and Vitality with the team they got now. I mean, these guys are fucking goated. Longneck's top 20 player. I mean, I've been singing his praises. So, I mean, I guess at this point, who's an AWPer that's, like, somewhat realistic that you could say is definitely better than Symmetry? Because all the young AWPers are still fairly big risks. Honestly, you could probably replace Symmetry with Torji if you wanted to, and I think that will be my take. I'm just going to keep doing, you know, foot mouse transactions between these teams because Torji is a proven AWPer. He still is very young. He's been in the top 22 years in a row, and I do think Mouse is in a very weird state right now, so I wouldn't mind Torji getting freed and joining a different team, and I honestly do think his playstyle would fit fairly well with the foot system, and maybe you have an AWPer then that is a little more consistent against top tier teams, but like I said, I would still like if the team would mostly stay together. Next up is my next sons. I pretty much just adopt anyone and everyone, and that is Astralis. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, having to do with Astralis, I mean, this is a fully biased, but I gotta say something, and I don't fuck with him, so I'm gonna say it. You can replace Yabby. Now, if you replace Yabby, the main issue is, well, the only other real closer is Blame F, and he's cooking on Big, and I don't think he rejoins Astralis again. So you would no longer be a Danish core, which I know would hurt them. It would truly hurt them. But guys, if we want to stop Vitality, we got to make some tough decisions. And I mean, think about it. Vitality used to be a fully French team before they turned to the evil side of being international, and now look at them. Now they're dominating. So I think we're just gonna have to go international as well. And who is the best closer? Rops. I'm sure we can steal him from Vitality. He loves to join new teams every once in a while. I'm playing, guys. I'm playing. We couldn't get Robs to Astralis. There's no way. I mean, it actually might be one of the only ways for Astralis to stop Vitality is for Robs to join them. So it's not a bad shout. Now, I won't lie to you guys. It is a little tough trying to find a closer who I think for sure will be better than Yabby on this team. I really don't think it's a good pick. Like, I really don't. But who else do you switch out? Can't replace Hooksy. Hooksy been playing out of his mind. Stara's been playing out of his mind. And do you really think you're finding a better anchor support player than Ryu? He's been great in 2026. I mean, sure, he wasn't great against Foot at PGL Bucharest. He did start the game off not well. You know, he dropped 2 kills in the first map, but he played pretty well after that. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm doubling up, actually. There's 2 players you can use here, so I'm doing both of them. Get Frozen to Astralis, or Twist, whichever one. I don't give a shit. Get Frozen or Twist on this team. I truly think, I think that would be fine. You know, at this point, they're already all speaking English. That's my double up. Navi, Astralis, you guys hash it out, whichever one you want more. You can share them if you want. Maybe, you know, they can flip-flop depending on how they're feeling some days. I really don't care. Just get one of them in the team for Yabby. Now that I've used up all my free cards on the 2 FaZe players, I can't keep reusing them. It might get a little harder from here. But next is Team Spirit. Dear Lord, that's what I have to say. And unfortunately, you guys are not going to like the answer I'm going to give here. I think the main thing Team Spirit needs is time. I really do. Magic's IGL, maybe there would have been a honeymoon period right after where the team played out of their mind. That does seem to happen after, you know, IGL switches, but that didn't happen with this team at all. They've just looked worse. And I do think the Magic's IGL transition is going to take a long time. Transitioning to an IGL is not a quick, easy thing to do. It sometimes, you know, for you to be really good, it can take years. And while you might be saying Donk doesn't have years, he's elite now, you know, I got a weird tingle that Donk might be elite for the next decade. Now, you don't want to bank on that. And it is going to be frustrating not seeing Donk, you know, winning things. But this is going to take some time. Might as well update this one as well while we're at it, eh? Spirit just had an incredibly good run at IEM Rio. And in this run, Tanir looked like the prime Tanir that I know and love. I've been waiting for this Tanir to break out on this team. And we finally got to see it. Here's what I'll say, though. It was without Hallie there. And if Tanir goes back to the kind of disappointing Tanir that we had been seeing when Hallie comes back, I don't know what they do at that point. Maybe they need to replace the coach. Maybe that's the move they make. Because I do think if Tanir obviously plays like how he did in Rio, no shot he's ever leaving this team. He played so good. So here's what I will say. The one move that would feed families is minus Zontix plus Bit. Now, this isn't a perfect roll for roll swap in every single position they play on the CT side, but they do overlap on quite a few. Is it realistic? No, this entire video isn't realistic. I don't think there's any shot Bit is leaving Na'Vi to go to Spirit, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe. I do feel like this would be like such an incredible piece for the team. And I know Zontix just came back. You do want to give him a little bit more time. But like if I got to make any move right now, I think that's the move that I would do. We kind of see how Tanir performs because like I said, if he keeps playing like how he played at Rio, we have to keep him. But yeah, I think Bit for Zontix would be pretty fire. Next team is G2, and this is a move that I've wanted to see happen for a while. Recall Klim to the main roster for Sunpius. I'm sorry. I think Sunpius is a fine AWPer, but I've said this time after time after time. I do think if you want to really be a insanely good tier 1 team, you need to have a consistently elite AWPer. Will Klim be that? I don't know, but I do think it is at least taking a risk on instead of having a consistently fine AWPer. Sunpius, he's not going to be a top 20 AWPer again. At least I don't think so. I think that time of his career has passed, and I really do think you need to get someone who potentially could be. And so I do think Klim has quite a few good fits. My two favorites are G2 or FaZe, but overall, just this isn't going to be long. Just get the kid in. You already got him on your academy team. You're loaning him out to MIBR. I mean, it feels like the most screw your brain in easiest roster move of all time. Am I crazy for that? And I mean, well, those are currently the top 12 ranked teams in the world. Do you guys think anyone else has a realistic chance? NRG, guys, as soon as Wildcard or NRG signs Wumbo, who just signed to Marsborn, it's over. Okay, that NA team will cook. Wumbo plus No Cries combo. That is the secret. If you haven't seen Wumbo, take a look at this motherfucker. He's the best rifling talent we got in the whole damn country right now. Wumbo plus No Cries. They're gonna save us. That's all I'm saying. Don't shoot the messenger. We'll see who does it, okay? I think M80 are pretty locked in with Lake. They're not gonna make the move. I think it would be such a perfect fit on NRG. I truly do. Or Wildcard, honestly. I really don't mind the new Wildcard project. You know, Org be damned for the goofy stuff they did. I still like the roster. I can't help it. As soon as Wumbo plus No Cries joins an NA team, you guys are all fucked, okay? NA's gonna be back on top, man. I can't even pretend to believe the words I'm saying, man. Fuck. We're so cooked. I do like Wumbo, though. He's gonna be good. I hope. Yeah, that's it for me, guys. Let me know if you think there is any other teams that I missed that I could have added in here. I think I got all the big hitters. You know, I didn't mention Big, and I love Big. Unfortunately, Big would have to go international. They would have to no longer be German, probably. But, you know, maybe they win Cologne. It is German team in Germany. It makes sense. But yeah, that's it for me, fellas. Liking the video if you liked, subscribbling if you want to subscribbling, and hit the bell if you would like notifications. And I'll see you guys next time.